Hello everyone, this is me, Shane Lee. Like I told you, the accident happened on the Sunday and I was out by Tuesday. So the 24th is here on the Sunday, 25th, 26th, and I would have dropped little Roddy off at Vivian's, who was the woman he was seeing. And like I said, unless one of his daughters liked me, which would be the only reason I'd even go in, and stuff like that. And I interacted with her and had sex with her, and then Vivian got upset that I thought the girl was too young to have sex with me. And now, if I did and she was a virgin or something, we would have had to get cleaned up, because virgins bleed their first time. Now, if she did, um, I would tell her, well, I'm 16 and she's 13. Little Roddy was with a 13-year-old too, named Terry, and stuff like that. And well, he's about 15 or 16 too, right, Little Roddy? Or 14 or something like that. But I don't remember all the details, but you know, this ain't no big deal because we're both minors, and unless she just started to accuse me of being a pedophile or something. Now the only reason she would do that is what, and she thought her daughter was too young to have sex, and well, I would understand that idea, and but I'm still a minor too, and now the thing about statutory rape, and whether it fits that bill is the age of the two parties involved. Now, if I was 18, right, and was a 14-year-old or 13-year-old, yeah, that's statutory rape. But if I was 16, we're both still minors. That's consensual sex between two minors, right? And there's a difference there too. Now, if Vivian went off on me, I would respond back to her just as she was coming yelling at me and stuff like that. And I might would even go into religion a little bit and stuff like that, and trying to explain it to her that way too. And we're all, when we're this age, looking to find a girlfriend, right, or a boyfriend if we're straight. And well, if we hit it off and had sex, well, I was mature enough and I talked to her about it, and if she agreed to do it, we did it, right? And obviously, here's the proof. Now, I have a memory block because Vivian must have hit me upside the head with some kind of aluminum bat or something like that. Which I'm sure she kept around her house because she's a woman living along with two daughters, and little Roddy was her boyfriend, but he was only over there for sex, right? Right. Well, I'll also point out, and another problem is you and little Roddy, she knows are having sex. She probably told me that. I don't know. Well, the point is, if you're making this an issue, you're the one who's teaching her it's okay to have sex, and there be a big age difference too. I know. Though mine's just 2 to 3 years, maybe. I know. That's the difference. That's the difference. I'm still a minor in the eyes of the law. So is she. I know. Now, the age of consent, yeah, that's 16. I know. But we're still two minors, even though I'm 16 and can consent to being with someone like you, for example. I know. But if I'm with you and something like that, that's different too. I know. Now, when you're 16, you can be with Little Roddy, I don't know. But when Little Roddy turns 18, he can't be with her, for example, ever again. Now, when I turn 17, she'll be 14, but when I turn 18, I can't be with her until she's 16, right? Now, if I know that, and we play by those rules, we can have sex for 2 years if we wanted to, all right? And it still not be pedophilia, or statutory rape. But if I do so after that, I have to stop for a few years. That's the point there too. Now I'm mainly playing by the rules of the law. I know. Now, if I'm a minor and she's a minor, until I reach the age of an adult, then I would have to quit being with her. Like Jennifer was dating an older guy too. I know. But he was probably still under 17. Right. Right. Well, once he turns a certain age, unless she reports it for one, or two, her mom does or something. If so, then yeah, she would get in trouble, and he would get in trouble as well. And it's up to the girl to say, "Oh, I'm being molested or raped or whatever." And if you don't come forward, it never happened as well too. And that's if we continue dating once I turn 18. And which if we want to, we can take a 2-year hiatus and until she turns 16 too. And if she's so much younger than me. But for 16 and 17, yeah, we could have sex. And then you might point out, well, we could try for an adult at 17. Yeah, it depends on your crime. And if it's a consensual crime or not, too. Children at a certain age can consent to each other until they reach the age of, maturity or an adult. Now, when I turn 18, I have to register, for example, with the armed forces and things like that, or the military. Now, it's just you got to register and pick what branch you might want to go into and stuff like that. Like, for example, I might choose the Navy or the Army or the Marines because I got a bad eye. But I also took the martial arts and I'm learning to deal with it positively. And again, it all depends on how Vivian responded back and forth with me too. Now, if she got more agitated, and I told her, well, call the cops. I mean, if you think I did something wrong, all you can do is call the cops, right? I'll try to reason it out with her the best I can, unless she got so unrational she just wouldn't hear me. Now, can parents get that way? Yeah. And that's the point about Amanda. You don't get between the mother bear and her cub when you're sleeping on the couch. If she comes in to you, you wake up, you investigate it a little bit, but you don't take it too far, no matter what you do. And that interaction has to be, according to the child, allowing you to do it too. If you don't take it too far, and she's allowing you to do certain things, you're trying to figure out what's going on while she's in there with you in the first place. So if you do something with her, your next question has to be a very serious question. Who showed you that? Whatever you did with her. Now, if you ask that question and she answers that question, you're duty bound as a disabled veteran with paranoid schizophrenia or even bipolar disorder to tell her mom. She's the only person you have to tell legally as well. No one else. No one else. You ain't got to tell the police. You ain't got to tell anyone but the mom. If you tell her and she accepts what happened and it's not no big deal, right? And, hypothetically, I could have just put my head down a little bit or lick her or whatever, trying to see what was going on. But don't mean I really did either. It's to see what she's doing in there with me. If she wanted some water or to get a bath or whatever, I don't know. That can even explain undressing her a little bit. But again, if she just sort of lays there and you're not sure what's going on, then you start undressing and see if she wants to get in the bathtub with you, and she just lays there, and then you get dressed again, try to figure out what's going on. And yeah, you might have a little bit of a boner because you're not sure what's going on, but you don't really, masturbate to her or anything either. You're just trying to figure out, does she want a bath, what's going on. You're trying to figure out the situation and see what's going on. Because sort of late at night, you're sort of groggy, and you're not thinking normally until you are fully awake as well. Then you come fully awake and say, oh, I'm dressed in front of her, put my clothes back on, right? Or something like that, hypothetically. It's not really a memory, it's just people keep insisting something happened. I'm trying to explain a reaction to that a normal person who's just met her might not exactly know what's going on. And certain things I would do legally, whether it happened or not, based upon my own past, period. Now, I would be sort of in a haze when I first wake up, and I don't know about you, but when you wake up, you're a little groggy, and you're a little sluggish, and you're a little disoriented until about 2 to 3 minutes later anyway, and try to wake up and figure out what's going on. So as I do so, I'm just trying to wake up and figure out where I'm at, like with the car accident. Now, that's why I'm showing you my accident reports. Right? So, again, when I got to the hospital, they didn't get me out of ICU in my own room until around 10 or so. And the accident happened around, let's say, no more than 5:30, 6 o'clock the same day, somewhere in that timeline. And if it was Vivian Little Roddy, here's the problem about the car accident, like I told you before. The steering wheel, when it goes into someone's chest, it breaks your chest. You don't have a choice in that. No one does. Now, Little Roddy was also uninjured. Well, if the car crushed into the wheelbase, Marceline, it would have broken his legs. Period. Even if he was bending down or whatever, it would have broken both his legs. On impact. That's why it's fishy from the beginning. And the only reason I sort of believed you is you showed me the wrecked car, and I was in a daze, right? I wasn't quite myself, and that also might explain why Mark was able to talk me into going out with him. I was a little confused and not really my true self, because that was just a few months after that as well, after I got back with Lisa, and I was having money problems, wanting to call her a lot, and again, I wasn't thinking rationally, but more emotionally as well, and trying to help my girlfriend, who was acting strange to begin with after I met her, and then I heard through the grapevine she might have been molested by her dad. So that's why I was acting so crazy around that time too, Marceline, because I met Lisa before that, say around anywhere from the 3rd to the 17th, and we started, had our first encounter at the Geechee River, and all I know was a week or two before that, and now I didn't go all the way with Lisa, which is why I might go all the way with Vivian's daughter as well, and but again, I would also, after the accident, if Lisa was the last person I remembered, to go back to Lisa, even if I did something with Vivian's daughter too, and but that don't mean I wouldn't tell Vivian's daughter if she hits me over the head, I might forget this whole thing as well. And if you want to, you can prove it to me. If not, that's up to you. It's up to you. But like I said, I'm not trying to cheat on you if she does that to me either. But if I go back to Lisa, it's not because of you. It's because your mom hit me over the head with that. And like I said, I can work this out with you if you want to. If you don't ever want to see me again, that's fine too. I can't do anything about it either. But she's your mom, and you gotta live in her house, so you gotta pay by her rules too until you get to be an adult. And after that, there's nothing I can do about it. Just like me, I'm gonna go where my family goes. If we move somewhere else or we stay here or whatever, that's how it's gotta work out. In my future. Well, we might have got smart and said, "Well, you gonna have it in the future." And I said, "What you gonna do about it?" And then it could have escalated from there. And because again, one minute, she was just little Roddy's older lover, but then she turned into Mother Bear and wanting to protect her cub from what she considered a predator or a pedophile. That's what it sounds like to me. Because someone is still accusing me of being a pedophile after all this time. Now, it could be Pastor Thomas, but who would I have sex with around the church? But maybe Christina or, I don't know, the girl who, the fiance of Carl. I mean, those were the only two females I really remember interacting with in an unusual manner. Christina I met in the hall, and it was just me and her, and she just walked through the hall, and I walked out the door behind her. And now, technically, she was the only female I was really actually alone with in the church, and the rest of them was in the church audience. And but the thing is, when I was with Carl's fiance, and we were worshiping in the church, and she was having a weird reaction when I was worshiping in tongues, and she was touching my upper left hand, and while we were worshiping together, and I don't know if she felt something, but it sure as hell seemed like it, and she seemed to be indicating what she was feeling wasn't from was maybe from God or an emotional response when even touching me. I don't know. Maybe in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, the disciples did what's called laying on of hands. Maybe that's what was going on with me and her. I don't know. She was having an emotional reaction to even touching me, and my hand, or my wrist actually, somewhere in that area. And as we were touching, she seemed to be getting more happy, more excited, more joyful, more loving. even I don't know how to describe it, but she also started crying a little bit and stuff like that, and it seemed like she was having some kind of spiritual awakening, and maybe. Well, after that, one of the things they asked me is the Holy Ghost like a light bulb that you can turn on and off. Yeah, when you worship even the disciples, when they worshipped and first spoke in tongues, they didn't speak in tongues the whole ministry. I know. But periodically, right? Pastor Thomas, whenever the Holy Ghost came upon them, right? Right. But they weren't speaking in tongues 24/7. That means it's what? Turned on and off like a light switch. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because why? If you read what it's about worshiping God in a foreign tongue you never spoke before. Now, when I was with Mary Bell, I could have really spoke to her in Tagalog, but I'm not sure because I'm not fluent in Tagalog when I spoke to her. And, in fact, I knew hardly nothing about the language. Now, of course, Bart or whoever was my competition then would freak out over that, and Mary Bell a little bit to herself, and they would probably both think I bought a book and started trying to learn it. And a few weeks later, I did to try and figure out what I was saying because Mary Bell didn't really want to tell me what I said either. Well, that's the point, dear. If I never spoken Tagalog before, and I know I both spoke to you, and then I sung between the my bedroom door and the refrigerator, and I also sung to you in a different language as well, right? Right. I don't know if you remember those two incidents. Maybe that's one of the things you don't want to remember. I don't know. Like possibly Patrick could be my son. You don't want to deal with that possibility. I can't make you. It's not my job. I can't make you remember things as I remember things too. But if you remember it, fine. If you don't, fine. But only you speak Tagalog at that time, not me at all. And the only reason I got the book afterwards was to show you. Yeah, I could have gotten the book, but I hadn't yet, and I didn't get it until after I spoke to you. And that's all I can tell you there. So I did write Pastor Davis about it, asking him, does it have to do something with a relationship with the person, or we were in a relationship and having a lot of sex. And I did have coincidences with her, like I was telling her, which is what she called them. I'm going to only forego into her. But again, after all that, she still didn't act like she was wanting to be with me, but was wanting to go back and forth between me and Bart. Which is why when I met Michelle through Little Roddy and his new girlfriend, Donna, I had a brief affair with a girl named Michelle for about a week to 2 weeks, somewhere in there. And then I broke up with Michelle, telling her I was a little confused because I had a girlfriend in Virginia, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to break up with her yet either. And I sort of said I don't think I should be with you anymore because I don't want to, hurt you or anything further than I already have, probably. And that's what I was trying to tell her. And then I was with Mary Bell Thursday and Friday nights, the 18th and 19th in the middle of the month. And then on Saturday, this is when I went back home. And I drove down to Georgia on Saturday and made it home. Now, my awake interaction has only been with 17 to 18 females that I know I was actually with. And the rest of them is somewhat marred. So that would involve no more than 5 females, one on the ship, and let's see if I can remember correctly. Now, a 12-year-old did try to have sex with me and a friend of mine named Joey, but Joey's more her age, and I sort of backed off. And I did sort of interact with her a little and licked her a little bit and tried to, do something, but didn't go nowhere. And she said I didn't even get it in. And so I need to set that aside not to force it, right? So then she was with my friend Joey, who was more her age. He was around 13. And according to Joey, they had a sexual encounter, but he came out of her and not on her, and in her. I pulled out. That's all I know. That's all I know. And then after that, was more masturbatory with most of the females anyway I was around. Now, I masturbate to a lot of females when younger, as would any normal heterosexual male. And I had no problem with that. But then when I started going out to the church, they had a unitship program. Well, in the unitship program, Pastor Brand told me it was okay if I masturbated with another brother. And stuff like that. And Pastor Davis was talking about masturbation himself and stuff like that. And that was okay to do so, and told me personally and stuff like that. And again, I even had a dream of Pastor Davis casting out a demon. I told that to Pastor Brand and stuff like that. And I don't know if he related that to Pastor Davis, but maybe they were trying to groom me to join that part of the group. I don't know. Well, I found out later through 2020, and that was years later after I was out of the church too, that what he was really doing was bringing young men to the hotel rooms and having some kind of sexual encounter with them, which could have included masturbation, but the men also indicated more went on than that. So since I never did that, and when he made a pass at me, I just froze and didn't do anything. I didn't even get hard or wrecked, and walked away afterwards. Because, like I said, maybe that was my test to see if I really wanted to join the group, and if I responded by getting a boner, maybe that's what he was looking for. I don't know. But I did not. Though this is also after I told him I was one of the two witnesses. And that's the point there. But, again, I also told Pastor Thomas, and he rejected me flat out and said, no, you're not. Well, that caused